Imagine this. It's 710 CE in Japan, and you're a farmer tending to their rice. You pull weeds as sweat drips from your brow. Suddenly, you're called to pick up fresh fish for dinner. As you walk through the local market, you notice a crowd forming. As you approach, you see a retainer for the daimyo announcing that Japan is ready to build a city it has never seen before. The country's first permanent capital will be Heijō-kyo, a city to rival the glamour of Tang China and solidify Japan's presence on a global scale. It would serve as the heart of Japan, with temples, poets, and exotic traders practically littering the streets. For the next 84 years, Heijō-kyo, currently known as Nara, lived up to its expectations, until a certain emperor had enough of the place and ditched it for Kyoto. What made this city so popular in ancient Japan? What led to the transition of the imperial court? In ancient Japan, the imperial court often moved. New towns, new emperors, it was all routine. But why? It was mainly superstition. They believed a dead ruler's spirit could haunt the place, so they'd bounce. Asuka, the last politically prominent city, was more a glorified base camp than a capital. So in 710, Empress Genmei rolled out Heijō-kyo, a city built to last and show the world Japan was more than it seemed. The streets were perfectly planned, the palaces radiated power, and it was all modeled on Tang China's Chang'an, as if Japan's goal was to one-up China's capital. But building Nara wasn't exactly a trip to the hot springs. Thousands of men were working tirelessly for the future of Japan. After just 2 years of construction, it was worth it. There were palaces for Genmei that reinforced her position as empress, and a city so Chinese-inspired you'd think you were actually in China. Building Nara wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was actually the grand finale of the Taika reforms, kicked off in 645 after the Ishii incident, when Prince No-Oe pulled a fast one and took out Soga no Iruka to break the clan's chokehold on the throne. The Taika reforms were about building a solid, stronger Japan, and Nara was the ultimate symbol, the capital to hold it all together. Nara didn't stop at being a beautiful representation of Japanese-Chinese architecture. It continued to fuel Japanese culture. By the 720s, Nara was jam-packed. Monks chanting in massive temples, poets writing haikus, and traders from Korea, China, and even Persia rolling in with Silk Road merchandise. Nara's crown jewel? Todaiji, later Emperor Shomu's bet on Buddhism. Its great Buddha, a 50-foot bronze statue, was unveiled in 752 in a party that brought in thousands, from local farmers to foreign eccentrics. Nara wasn't just a city, it was finally a global player. That dedication party was less a temple opening and more an ancient world expo. Chinese diplomats, Korean royals, they were all there, probably swapping stories about who had the coolest temple. Nara was shaping up to be the perfect way to introduce Japanese culture to the world. In 712 and 720, the Kojiki and Nihon Shoki were produced, Japan's first history books, and naturally they talked up the emperors as divine heroes. The Manyō Shu, a poetry collection, was pretty emotional, exploring love, loss, and nature. And then there was the Shosuin treasury, stuffed with Silk Road goods, like Persian cups, Chinese silks. It was a perfect representation of the wealth Nara had brought in. But the bustle of the city couldn't hide the difficulties it faced. In 735, Nara faced a smallpox outbreak, probably from the many trade ships that were sailing through. It was a killer, taking out up to a third of the city, from nobles to peasants. Emperor Shomu, who loved his Buddhism, went all in on temples, thinking prayers and that big statue could fix it. Todaiji was his masterpiece, but unfortunately, you can't pray away a plague. Shomu meant well, of course, but banking on a bronze Buddha to stop a virus is like trying to make sushi by reciting a haiku. It's just impossible. The plague tore Nara apart, and the imperial court started wondering if the gods were involved. And more problems piled up. Along with smallpox, 730's Nara faced crazy taxes to pay for Shomu's temples, and paperwork had farmers ready to riot. Eternal salvation sounds nice, but not when you're taxed until you're eating dirt. Those riots showed the court they were drifting way out of touch. Then there were the monks. Buddhism is inherently chill, but some clerics got power hungry. Empress Koken, who ruled twice, later as Shotoku, got super close with a monk named Dokyo. By 764, Dokyo was so bold he nearly grabbed the crown, until the nobles stopped him. Since nothing screams shady more than a monk trying to usurp the throne, the nobles shut Dokyo down pretty quick. Unfortunately for the innocent monks, Dokyo's stunt left Nara's monks looking less holy, dampening the city's religious culture. By 784, Emperor Kanmu was done. Nara was a hot mess. Scheming monks, bad omens, and then this weird thing where everyone thought dead nobles were haunting the place. Kanmu bailed to Nagaoka Kyo, hoping for a fresh start. Spoiler, it flopped in 10 years, sunk by floods, and yeah, another ghost story. In 794, Kanmu went all in on Heian Kyo, modern-day Kyoto, which held strong as the capital for over a whopping 1,000 years. Nara became known as a temple town, its palaces withering as Kyoto thrived. Nara's 84 years were a bold stab at greatness, and while it served its purpose, it served its role for a much shorter time than hoped. Nara was Japan's first crack at building a true empire, a city that mixed faith, art, and big ideas into a short-lived multicultural blaze. Nara continues to be a site of Japanese culture exploration to this day. Its temples, the Todaiji and the Kofukuji, are on the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization World Heritage List. Nara Park is famous for having deer so polite they'll bow to you for a snack. Its poems and treasures are still around after deadly plagues and riots. In the end, Nara fulfilled its purpose. It cultivated ancient Japanese culture and still stands today to recount its story.